want to play football.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sacred Saturdays podcast. My name is Tony Casolo. And as with me, as always, Justin Casolo. How are you doing today, Juice?
Doing good, buddy. How about you?
Good.
Happy Saturday.
Man. Happy Saturday. How are your did you throw down any bets today? How are they going this morning?
I've got, I think, 6. I'm 1 for 1. 1 for 2. We had K-State plus 6.5 that hit.
Okay.
And then
I also had that one.
Yeah, K-State covered versus Baylor. And then Iowa State. Vegas knows. Iowa State was the dog going to Cincinnati. And I was like, what? There's no way. Iowa State's going to win the game. And, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we had that talk earlier in the week. And, I mean, you could just – I thought it was a no-brainer. I thought Iowa State would kill Cincinnati. You know, Cincinnati's been about an average program, and Iowa State's arguably been probably the class of the Big 12 the last couple of years, but it just seems strange that they were dogs, and Vegas knows. They had a tip from some government officials or something like that. I'm not really sure here.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's
man.
wild. But now watching Florida, Texas, got the quad screen on. Penn State, UCLA. I don't know how UCLA's up on Penn State. They don't have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or head coach. And is Nico out there?
I have no clue. I haven't watched it for a minute, so
I don't know, man. I've never looked more Italian in my life.
I'm loving the zip up. It's looking classic with the old. This is more of the throwback UNLV logo, right? Is that kind of more the older lettering?
It's a good question. I think we had a UNLV. I think at some, maybe it was just an N on the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. I love it.
Yeah.
I was laughing about this with you before we went live, but that lead that UCLA has, they came into the game having led for 0 minutes in their first 4 games. So now this is their first lead of the season, and it just happens to be against a top 5 opponent.
Oh, Penn State. Man, I was pulling for Penn State against Oregon.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just, I don't know what it is about that crew that, you know, the big games, they just don't win them. They still could have a great season and be there at the end. But that Oregon team, they seem kind of destined. I was listening to Dan Lanning and his pregame speech, and he's great with that stuff. He's not quite on Deion Sanders' par. No, I don't think anybody on the planet is on that par for motivational speeches. But Dan Lanning was saying some cool stuff. He's like, the champ is here. The champ is here. When they're in the tunnel and the "We Are Penn State" chant, like, "We are," and Lanning's like, about to get your ass kicked.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's kind of a guy that I feel like with Dan Lanning, if he's your coach, you love him, but if he's the opposing coach, you hate him.
Sure.
Which I think is almost like the perfect place to be as a head coach, or as a player, or as anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. We've talked about it a bunch of times before too. For some reason, there's 2 guys that come to mind this year, and I think, unfortunately, their play has shown that this to be the truth this year. There's just 2 guys I've never really believed in, and one is Drew Aller, the other one's Kate Klubnik, which obviously Clemson got off the mat in a big way against North Carolina today, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I never have trusted those guys. And even when people are saying they could be the biggest thing or lead their team to a championship, I don't see it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I actually, speaking of quarterbacks, I have a fun game to play with you here, Juice. I purposely haven't told you about this, but I saw this stat earlier in the week. A couple people have picked it up, but Mike Kliss, who's a local sports reporter here in Colorado, also tweeted it out. So there is a college football program, okay, that had their starting quarterbacks from 2015 to 2023. Okay, they had 6 guys start for that program. Okay, those 6 guys are now all starters in the NFL. What college program is that?
Sorry, it was quarterbacks?
Yeah, 6 quarterbacks from 2015.
It's Bama, right?
It's not Bama.
Oklahoma?
It is Oklahoma. Can you name the 6 quarterbacks?
Kyler,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen,
Mm-hmm.
Baker,
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma. Sam Bradford's dead. Not saying that he's long gone. Gosh, I feel like this should be more easy.
There's one really big one, and then 2 that were lower picks, lower round picks.
Lower round picks from Oklahoma. Gosh, I don't know.
So it's Caleb Williams, who transferred to USC.
Brutal.
Then we have Spencer Rattler, who transferred to South Carolina. Then we have Dylan Gabriel, who transferred to Oregon. But all of those guys started games for Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet Alabama's up there too. They got.
I think they have to be. Yeah.
If you could do transfers. Vandy taking the early lead on Bama.
Did they? Man, I saw something earlier in the week, and this is again something that just made me laugh. But there was really no in between. It was either going to be a Bama like 70-0 kind of game, or a what was the nickname you said to me today? Pesos Pavia.
Peso Pavia. Yeah, I saw it in the crowd. There was a Peso Pavia.
Yeah, and obviously you think of like Money Manziel.
It's such a great nickname.
It's a fantastic nickname.
Yeah.
But the 2 ways that this game could go is you're either going to see a 70-0 Bama rout or a Diego Pavia masterclass.
Yeah, this could be if Diego Pavia pulls this off, this could be legend status for him in Vanderbilt.
For sure.
And that would put Vandy at 6-0. I'm going to take a look at their schedule. What?
They always play Tennessee at some point, don't they?
I want to say yes. Okay. I believe you're 100% correct. But let's take a peek. Peso Pavia.
Peso Pavia. That's so awesome. Such a great nickname.
Yeah, Vandy's got LSU.
That's a tough one.
At home, Missouri at home, at Texas. Tough stretch. Against Auburn, tough game. Against Kentucky, at Tennessee. So they got a tough end to the season.
Mm-hmm.
This even going 6-0, that doesn't guarantee anything for them. No. Going to Tuscaloosa and winning this thing doesn't guarantee anything because that is a heck of a slate against LSU, against Missouri. At least those are at home, and then at Texas.
Okay. I am just kind of looking at the scoreboard, but Imai Levea is playing for UCLA, by the way.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't want to touch on this too much because it is kind of somber point, but obviously our thoughts and prayers go out there to Mark Sanchez right now. I don't know if you saw the news about that, but it sounds like he's in stable condition right now, but that's always scary to see, especially from a guy that we know from the college football world, pro football. He even had a cup of coffee with the Broncos, didn't he?
Yeah, prayers up.
So hopefully he can recover and come back strong. But I mean, Man, Florida's looking pretty good against Texas here. They're about ready to maybe kick a field goal to take a 10-0 lead.
Yep.
We kind of talked about. Oh, good.
Got Gators +7. I think all offseason I had just this sense that the Gators were going to win that game. And what are we 1-1 on our Gators this year? You picked it right with USF +18.5 at Gainesville, and that hit. And then we were incorrect with Florida going to Miami, but yeah, Gators +7 today, and they're up 10-0. They got an early 10-0 lead. So what other games did you bet today?
Oh, let's see here. So for my morning slate, I actually started off pretty good. I was, I think I was 3 of 4, and it's funny because the only one I didn't get right was our lock of Iowa State plus points. But I bet. Oh shit! I have to relog in. I know I bet Air Force. Air Force got 12.5 points against Navy, and they only ended up losing by 3. So, Air Force, again, maybe not doing as well as we've come to expect here, but they're looking better and better. I think they're turning a corner again this year. I also took Kansas State in the points against Baylor, and then I bet the spread in the Illinois game, and they won by, I think it was Illinois -6.5.
Nice, and they covered that.
Yeah, they covered it. And then this, obviously, I have Florida. I agreed with you on your assessment of playing Texas strong. I did take Vanderbilt and the points.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, which is fun. I'm actually seeing a highlight right here. Oh man, they ripped off like a 50-something yard touchdown run to get the lead.
Yeah.
The other one that I thought was just a fun game, I took Maryland and the points at home against Washington, I think, and they're up 3-0.
I did not take that bet, but I love your thinking there. Washington, it's a tough game last week, and then just going east for a West Coast team. And Maryland's, we talked about it last time. This freshman quarterback that Maryland's got is a dude, a true freshman stud.
Yeah, he looks like a beast.
Yeah, it's always cool to see the teams that you don't expect to come out and be. You don't expect them to be good, and they show up. Like Vanderbilt, I don't think anybody expected Vanderbilt to be sitting there at 5-0, and Maryland potentially sitting there at 5-0. So that's cool stuff. I'll tell you my bets. I got Boise State +20.5 at Notre Dame. That's Boise State written all over it.
That's a great one. We had talked about that one earlier in the week.
Boise State going in and shocking. That's what that program is like. That's the definition of Boise State is beating teams you don't expect them to, and like rising to the occasion when it's a big moment and when it's a brand. So I love Boise State +20.5. They're down 6 early. I think the start of the second quarter. I got Michigan State +10.5 against Nebraska.
Where is that? Is that at Nebraska?
I believe at Nebraska, and so 10.5 there. And those, I think I want to start taking the under in all these Nebraska games. They're just like slog fests, every one of them. It's just like hard to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's kind of one of those things that we've talked about in the past. It almost kind of looks like they still are a little afraid to take the reins off of Dylan Raiola. Don't you think?
Totally. And that coach there in Huskerville, I trust him. I think he knows what he's doing, Mr. Rule, and I expect to see big things out of them, but just hasn't panned out quite yet. And then I've got Syracuse +15.5, I believe, at SMU.
Okay.
Syracuse getting a ton of points. What an inconsistent team. They beat Clemson, and then they just got dog walked last week by Duke. But I like that spread there, 15.5. SMU has been a disappointment. SMU has been a disappointment from what they did last year. So I like Syracuse and the points there. And then again, Florida +7. We're looking great there. We got 10-0 on the board and 7 points. So loving that.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit, and I'd like to just kind of get your impression here on camera. But what do you think will be the impression of a guy like Arch Manning if he loses a game today to a what most people will see from the outside looking in is they'll purely say, "Oh, that's just a 1-3 Florida team," not really recognizing the talent that team actually has. So, what do you think could be the outcome of a loss for Texas or a guy like Arch Manning today?
Yeah, it's going to be the overreaction, no doubt. There's just going to be it's going to be such overreaction, and going to Gainesville is one of the hardest things in college sports. I mean, going to the Swamp and winning a game is next to impossible. That crowd, the atmosphere. So that's always going to be a tough game. I don't care what Florida's record looks like. So I see it as there should be no shame in that loss. You know the media is going to turn it into more than it is.
Absolutely.
And it reminds me of Lane Kiffin this week talking about the death of the SEC team dynasty. He was just explaining the level playing field on the roster, and he didn't. I don't think he specifically called out Alabama, but he was talking about Alabama. Boy, Diego Pavia just ripped off a big run. But saying you look over at Alabama sideline, you've got an outside linebacker defensive end room, and there's 6 first-round picks, just one sitting there after another. This was the Saban years, and how this is no longer the case. So you've got a Texas team that, let's say they go down there and lose to Florida, they'll be 3-2. They could finish the season with 3 losses, and we're going to see that more and more in the new college football. We're going to see 2 and 3 loss national champions. And it's the college football purist. You love seeing those 12-0 records and 11-1 records. And it's those, I think those days are coming to an end really quickly. We may see that these next few years, and then who knows down the line, the team pops out of nowhere and goes undefeated. But these schedules are just getting so much more difficult. And the SEC going to a 9-game conference slate it's so good for the sport. I want to see. I don't want to see Florida play Houston Baptist the week before they play Florida State. It's just brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually watching the Vanderbilt Alabama game, and they keep showing Theo Vaughn's girlfriend every time Diego Pavia does something good.
Yeah, is she good?
Yeah, you heard that whole thing, right? Where Theo Vaughn asked out Diego Pavia's mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Diego Pavia keeps making plays and keeps showing her doing first downs. So, yeah, Theo Vaughn's girlfriend.
So are they sitting together? Are they next to each other?
No, I don't know. I know Theo Vaughn. Is Theo Vaughn there? Was game day in? Bam. Oh man.
And Theo Vaughn was the guest picker.
Oh god, that'd be great.
Oh man, Arch just got hammered in the backfield. Whew.
Did he?
Oh, dude, absolutely hammered. And the thing back to the Florida team, they've had so many guys out. Caleb Banks, who's a potential first-round defensive tackle, and then some of their other defensive linemen have been out for big games. And in this game specifically, Florida's got 2 true freshmen starting at wide receiver, and both of these guys were all world recruits. And one of them, it's his first start. And there's serious talent on the outside for these Florida Gators. So, dang, Texas punt. Florida's all over Texas. Florida's going to win this game. I took Florida +7. I am very confident that the Gators are going to win this football game.
Yeah, I think so too. It just had the makings of a Gators win just from the start.
Yep.
Offense has been struggling versus another team that people perceive to be struggling, and it had the recipe for sure.
Yeah.
I got my eyes locked on this Vanderbilt Bama game. This is going to become such an interesting, I don't know if you even call it, but interesting rivalry almost between Bama and Vanderbilt. If Vanderbilt's able to get back-to-back wins now.
Oh yeah.
That's just so funny.
Oh yeah, those fans in Tuscaloosa are just gonna lose their. I love Roll Tide Willie, man. Watching Roll Tide
Oh,
Willie's
dude,
content
he's classic. Yeah.
is just so good. It's just so good. I love his anger. Like, it's just sometimes there's nothing better than just pure anger out of somebody that just puts a smile on your face for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Like it's just so primal and just so fun to watch.
Oh, it's so great. I'm hoping this is the year of the V's. And I had to bring this up. I think it was a stat that I sent you and Dad earlier today, but this week was the first week where both Vanderbilt and Virginia were both in the AP top 25 since I believe 1947.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Isn't that great? Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh man.
Since 1947.
Yeah, it's the last time Vandy and Virginia were in the AP top 25.
Wow.
Ooh. Diego might have coughed it up.
Yeah, he
Yep.
did. Roll
Coughed it
football.
up. Mm-hmm. Now this pisses me off. How are you getting the quad screen? Is that through the ESPN app?
Nah, YouTube TV.
YouTube TV. Okay. Because this just kind of speaks, and you and I have had kind of candid conversations about how far off ESPN has fallen in recent years. Don't get me wrong; their live sports coverage is about as good as it gets. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fault that. But the advertisements all around has been the whole. Have you seen the whole multi-view thing from ESPN that you can get on the ESPN app?
Mm-mm.
Oh God, they advertise it everywhere, and I've been logging on to my phone and my TV and all this different stuff, expecting to see multi-view as an option.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually like talk to an ESPN like tech rep, they say, "Oh no, that's only available if you have ESPN app through Apple TV." I'm like, what the hell would you advertise it so broadly and only offer it to one set of customers? Which maybe I'm crazy. Maybe Apple TV is way bigger than I think, but it just doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a thing to cater one thing to an entire audience to.
Interesting. Yeah, there's such interesting stuff going on there. The force feeding certain sports down our throat. It reminds me of the movie Mean Girls when Regina George is like, "Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen." And like, I'm not going to say which sports ESPN is force feeding down the public, the public's throat. But it's just like I'm not going to watch. I'm not interested. But thanks. Stop trying to make fetch happen, ESPN. It's not going to happen. Well, it might happen, but maybe not for me.
yeah, I get it. Oh man. What do we got here? I gotta. Yeah, it did look like a fumble over here. I gotta.
Well, I've got UCLA, Penn State, and Nico is threatening, and if they score, it'll be 17-7 UCLA. So weird. Again, the crowd is just non-existent for the Bruins. It's just.
You would think that they could drum up. What does the Rose Bowl hold? 100,000, 80,000,
90 plus 100,000 region.
You think you could drum up 100,000 people in the greater Los Angeles area for a top 5 team?
Yeah.
That just seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, poor Penn State, man. I don't know what's going on there.
You know, you put all your eggs in a basket and don't get me wrong. I mean, I think Drew Lauer was a 5-star, wasn't he? Recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely had his moments, but again, like it just seems like one of those guys that just can't get it done when you need him to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been saying that for the longest, and I know Mel Kiper at some point last year was like, this guy's a potential number 1 guy, and so I went off that, and he sometimes looks average, and same with Cade Klubnik. You talked about him too. I was a huge believer in Cade, just the recruiting rankings and whatnot, and it hasn't translated this year. A lot of the quarterbacks they expected to. You telling me earlier in the week the rankings that they were showing. I don't think anybody could have predicted.
No, yeah, and I like that. Yeah, those were the rankings from ESPN. Number one right now, local boy for you there here, Jordan Mailata. Guy
Mm-hmm.
that's looked great. Obviously I'd love to still see him in a UNLV uniform, but you
Yeah.
just got to be happy for him as a Vegas kid, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's so cool. He's that could be a potential first round pick there. That kid's got size, he's got an arm and pretty athletic.
How big is he?
He's about 6'4".
That'll do. Um, you mentioned Clemson, and I think at this point you got to just mention the other side of that house. What do you think is going on with North Carolina with Coach Belichick at the helm?
I have no concern. I have no concern. I think, of course, it's going to get headlines, and we're in this world where you have to, like, with this microwave culture where it's like it needs to take 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And North Carolina is never been in football. They've never been, and
Right.
so it's the same thing with Deion Sanders, his Colorado experience. Like, this is gonna take time. It's about the players on the field, and North Carolina doesn't have the players on the field.
Right.
So
Has
zero concern. If the media doesn't force him out and do the things that they do, like, it reminds me of the Urban Meyer situation in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. The media did everything they could to make it dramatic and shame Urban Meyer out of the job. So
right.
that's the only thing. I think Bill Belichick is at a different plane for sure. Well, I mean, maybe not on the college level, but he's such a icon, so he may not be swayed. But who knows? It's for me, it's just a matter of time. If he gets the right players, they're going to win. They're going to win football games, no question about
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I agree with you there.
it. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an overreaction.
Yeah,
And it's going to be too much of an overreaction, which is great.
Yeah.
What do you think about? So, one of the other games that I bet on today was I actually did take UNLV to cover against Wyoming. And I was a little surprised to see the spread of only being 3.5 points. You want to talk about that?
It started at 5.5. It was 5.5, and dude, going to Laramie, that's I'm super scared. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Wyoming wins. I think I want UNLV to win, and they can, and they should, but that is a tough place to go win. That's a tough place to go win. So we shall see. Big game for the Rebels today.
I like the Rebel. I don't know. I obviously got to see Wyoming up close and personal, and obviously there's a bit of a talent gap there between CU and Wyoming, but their offense looked below average, just to be charitable with that. And they're relying on a young quarterback, and I know UNLV does have some good pieces on defense. So I don't know. I could see a big game out of UNLV today. I think they're going to walk away with that one pretty easily, but I could be wrong. But Laramie is a tough place to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not dead of November where you're getting like the high winds and the horrible snowstorms and everything like that. But, you should see some nice weather, which I think should help UNLV.
Definitely. And then the Buffs got at TCU today. What do you think there?
So I bet them. I feel like it's just one of those things like I have to at this point. But I took them to stay within, I think it's 13.5 right now.
It was as high as 15, and I'm 100% sure it was at least 14.5. I want to say it maybe even touched 15. Okay. I definitely think could see the Buffs covering. Mm-hmm. That's I wouldn't be shocked if they went in there and won either. I don't know if it's Deion's first game in Fort Worth where they beat TCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could go do that. We got a lot of different guys out there for the Buffs. And it feels like a rebuild situation right now in Boulder. Yeah. But no, I think they definitely can stay within the points. The Buffs have been close. I mean, they lost by a touchdown to Georgia Tech, a really good Georgia Tech team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and could have beat BYU. I think self-inflicted wounds and just some inexperience. And so yeah, CU is close, and I expect them to play tough.
I do too. Obviously we went off on it with Drew Aller and Kate Klubnik, and those would be the guys that would be the high tier guys that I would talk about with this. But if you're talking about a more like middle tier quarterback that gets a lot of hype, I'm just not that big of a Josh Hoover guy either. I think he puts up big numbers, and I think that's mostly due to the playing style that TCU employs. But I don't know. I've never seen like if it came down to like me having to take a quarterback in the Big 12, like I would definitely prefer a guy like Rocco Becht over like a Josh Hoover. It's a guy I don't believe in either. And if CU's defense can step up and maybe create some turnovers, I think we could hang close with them. I really do.
Yeah, I hope they go in there and get the win. CU needs to get the win. They have a really tough schedule. I was texting you during that BYU game and saying if they win this game, that could be a huge year, and if they lose, it could get ugly. So they got to stop the bleeding and get a win. As Texas scores to make it 10-7, Florida over Texas.
Yeah, I just saw that. This is going to be a close game. Florida, it really kind of tough. They were driving and got kind of a really unfortunate turnover that could have maybe gone as a incomplete pass, depending on how you look at it. But, that's all kind of the momentum you need to maybe swing a game like this. But we'll see how Lagway can respond. I think Florida's still going to win this game. I think they're in a pretty good position. I had a fun one that I had thought of too. You mentioned the game, TCU against CU. And I know you and I watched that. And the feeling of that game was just kind of unrivaled. With the way that CU had lost in recent years and coming out and high scoring matchup, getting a win where they were big underdogs. Think of a game, let's say post 2020 that you've been watching, where you've been invested in, that had that kind of feeling where it did for me as a CU fan watching us upset TCU. Can you think of a game in recent memory that you've watched that you felt that way?
That's a great question. Yeah, I was heavily into those CU games when Travis Hunter and Shedeur. That was some of the funnest football I can ever remember watching. Like, it was just awesome. Everybody was just like, when Lil Wayne was leading your team out onto the field, like, I don't know who wasn't a Buffs fan for that like stretch of just hype. It was just fun.
Yeah.
Even if it was fool's gold, it was just super fun. I think Colin Coward was calling the CU Buffs the fake ID of college football.
That's a great nickname. That's awesome.
That's an upgrade from almost being a program that was on life support.
Right.
So those CU games were awesome. For me, I think the Boise State UNLV games over these last few years, UNLV's been on the wrong side of them and has lost, but really, really fun and really invested to see UNLV have a chance and be a program that's being showcased. So those were a lot of fun for me. But yeah, CU and the Travis Hunter years were so fun, man. So fun.
I remember the tweet and I remember the feeling. And if I could go back and find it, I'll find you a cool camera angle that I was able to get for the CU CSU game that first year. But someone specifically referenced that CU CSU game where I think it was like an 8:20 kickoff to start with, but there was also a weather delay because of thunder, so they didn't kick off until close to 9 local time. So they then went to overtime. So we're saying, we're probably not wrapping up this game until after midnight easily, right? And the guy on Twitter was like, man, do you remember the days when CU had the entire country awake after midnight watching them try to beat CSU? And I'm like, yeah, the entire country was watching that year. It was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah, I'm kind of ready for the Juju Lewis era, man. I think if CU can't get the dub today, I gotta go. If I'm Prime, I gotta just be like, let's see what this guy's got. Let's put him out there. There's no learning like being thrown into the fire, and I would roll the dice. I don't know what you got to lose if we go. That'd be 2-4 for the Buffs.
Yeah, 2-4 at that point.
I mean, and 0-2 in Big 12 conference play.
Right. Oh, 0-3.
0-3.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Houston. Yeah, so yeah, that would be something I would consider. Speaking of the Big 12, Houston versus Texas Tech tonight. I'm excited to watch that game. I think that's going to be a really fun football game. There's some great. The 4:00 slate is awesome today. 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm really curious because I've been singing the praise, and his name is escaping me. Oh, Willie Taggart. Sorry. So I've been really singing the praise of Houston's coach. I think he is a great coach, and when you've seen him in the past, like he rebuilds programs. That's what he does, period, right? And I just knew that Houston was going to be better this year. But they're going up against, what did you call them? The New York Yankees of college football last year in Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a fun one. And I think they're actually getting quite a few points, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and Texas Tech, it looks like playoff bound. They look they should be in the playoff. They should win the Big 12. They should be. We'll see how it plays out. But roster talent, I think you got to say that they're the most talented team in the Big 12. So, but that Houston team is a scrappy team, and like you said, a good coach. And I love those in-state games you don't get all the time. Houston and Texas Tech, that's not something that's historically been played all the time. So for Houston and their fans and those players, these are games that they've had circled all off season. It's like when USF played at Gainesville. These teams that we're human, and we look at those. You look at a schedule, you circle those games. So closer than the experts think. Texas Tech pulls it out, but close. And then I cannot wait for Florida State Miami. That's just such a fun rivalry to watch. It's just one of the top 10, top 5 college football rivalries.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This Florida kid, his last name is Wilson. He was a 5-star receiver, and today's his first start.
Okay.
And he looks like a dude. He looks like an absolute dude.
Yeah. I mean, is he from Florida?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, Florida's going to find talent. And especially you talk about the other 2 programs, Miami and Florida State. I mean, you got 3 programs that are probably fringe top 25 teams, depending on how they're playing during that year, but they're going to find some talent. They're going to find some dogs down there.
Oh yeah. Even if they've got losses and even if they have a poor season, there's several NFL players on those teams at any given time.
Right. Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about that Florida State Miami matchup. Is that, and I don't know the history as well as you do, but is that the wide right set of games?
Wide right, yeah, and they've had a wide left in there multiple times. Florida State could have won and ended up taking the loss to Miami.
Okay. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about the wide right, Florida State has had a series of field goals where they could have beaten Miami, and they've missed them all wide right in a row. And what Justin's talking about is then now one year they just decided to go wide left in order to lose the game. But I was going to show you this just real quick, going back to where we talked about where the entire world loved the Buffs.
The Lil Wayne years.
The Lil Wayne years. So can you see my screen here?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. So this is the camera angle that I caught right towards the end of the game with Michael Harrison catching one of those. So he came right up to us and gave us the ha. Man, it was fun. It was really fun. So we got to see that entire overtime period from the end zone that they scored and intercepted all the plays in. I mean, it was awesome. So, yeah, it was like, I'm an old man. I have kids and stuff like that. So I'm not up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning watching football games very often. But when I'm standing in the back of the end zone and seeing overtime, it's hard not to get into it.
Yeah, you got Wheezy around, man, and offset and Stephen A. Smith and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's what a time.
What a time. I think I got to meet CeCe Sabathia. I got to meet Kevin Garnett. I think it was Paul Pierce was at a game. I actually got a picture with Bill Goldberg, whose son is on the team. Gage Goldberg plays for the Buffs. So, yeah, it's still just such a fun time.
It's prime time. Yeah, nobody like prime. I was hearing a story about his first punt return in the NFL, punt return touchdown for the Falcons, and after he housed that return, I think 5 days earlier he was playing for the New York Yankees, and then shows up
the
next Sunday, and it just changes the game with a punt return touchdown. And then he said later that day he went to the mall and bought 11 Gucci watches.
That's awesome.
He gave the Gucci watches to the special teams players and the special teams coach, and a handwritten note accompanied all the watches. And he just said, when it's 4th down, I want you to know what time it is.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
There's only one, dude. There's only one prime time.
Yeah. And this is what I think a lot of people just don't get about the guy. And don't get me wrong, I feel very privileged to have been able to actually meet him in real life and get to interview him and be in press conference settings. The guy is a genuine person. And I think people try to ascribe motive to him and all this other crap. And I'm just like, you guys got it wrong. You just got it wrong. So, you can argue with me as much as you want. You're just wrong. I'm sorry.
He's the truth. He's the truth. 2021. And no question about it.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
Bama on the board. Ryan Williams touchdown.
Oh man, did he do something crazy with the touchdown too?
I didn't see the teeter, but he scored. And geez, UCLA 24/7 on the Nittany Lions. Penn State, dude. Oh god, that's the puke emoji with the green vomit showing up. Dude, that's an Oregon hangover. That's Oregon green puke coming out of that Penn State emoji right now, man. Like how UCLA is brutal.
No.
Like you'd think Penn State would be angry. Like, come on, dude. That's just a brutal score. If they don't win this game, that's a terrible look.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I looked over at the scoreboard after you said the score. Right now, and I think, let's see here, what do we got left here? Yeah, most of the way through the second, Drew Aller has 38 yards passing, and their leading rusher has 23 yards rushing. So yeah, they have 79 total yards of offense to 265 by UCLA.
Oh, that's just gross. And dude, Boise State up 7-6 on Notre Dame. I've been saying it all week. That's a Boise State game.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
20.5 points? No way. Give me to Boise State and 20.5 all day long. Everybody's buried Boise State. And dude, for me as a UNLV fan, we've got a lot of people calling for UNLV to make the college football playoff. And we got to slay the dragon. The dragon is Boise State in the Mountain West. And UNLV's had multiple cracks at it over the last couple of years and couldn't get it done. Yeah. So that to me that's still the team to beat in the Mountain West. And yeah, Boise State plus 20.5 against a brand like Notre Dame in a big game. Give me Boise State in those points. Yeah. What have we not learned? Have we not seen Boise State play for 20 years?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
It's just unbelievable, dude. And to get to the point where we always talk about how Vegas is always right about these things. I honestly think these are some of those ones that they just put out there just to see if people will bet it. They'll be like, they'll be dumb enough to bet Notre Dame.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, I don't want to toot my own horn here a little too early, but Maryland knocking on the door up 10-0. And yeah, inside the 10 with their true freshman QB.
Yeah.
That could be a really interesting program. And they're 4-0 right now out of kind of nowhere. And they were just showing a stat up on I think it's on Fox. No, it is Big Ten Network. I guess it's Fox's score crawl. But they were showing the amount of players that have played for each Big Ten team that are true freshmen and have played at least 90 snaps. Okay, Maryland has 8 freshmen that have played at least 90 snaps so far this year, and they're 4-0. Washington is second with 4 players that are true freshmen that have played 90 plus stats. The rest of the Big Ten combined have 4 players.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, they look really good early, and they're really young.
And I like that coach. I like Mike Loxley from Maryland.
Where does he come from?
He was on the Saban staff. He learned under Saban. So yeah, I could see Maryland. They're the Under Armour version of Oregon. They got the Under Armour money, and they're in a great location too. You got to tune to the Notre Dame Boise State game and see these Notre Dame uniforms, man.
Oh, are they wearing like a cool throwback or something?
Oh, dude, they're beautiful. It's all green, and then they got the golden domers on top, and it's just gorgeous.
Is it the Shamrock? Do they have the Shamrock helmets?
I don't see a Shamrock on there.
They're
just green and gold, and
those are beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful uniforms.
It kind of reminds me of the meme, like, you know how they'll put out on Twitter or whatever the meme of like men never cry at anything. It's like when you see a uniform like that, you're about ready to be brought to tears. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a brand, and I love. You look at Notre Dame Stadium, and good for them it's all Irish branding. You're not seeing T-Mobile. You're not seeing like anything Chipotle, like Notre Dame, and that's it. And you see that with teams like Michigan. Well, we were talking about it a few days ago. The private equity that could be potentially coming into the Big Ten, and I see this story, and it just scares me. I'm like, that's the end of that's the beginning of the end. I could be way off, and probably am, but seeing an investment from private equity into the Big Ten and a private equity firm, company, whatever, having a say in the future of a Big Ten conference, I'm just like, this is terrifying.
Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, it doesn't work out sometimes where the top 2 flagship schools in your conference like want something to happen. I'm always kind of reminded of the Big 12 back in the day when Texas wanted to have like its own network and wanted to expand and all this other crap, and it led to CU leaving and Nebraska leaving and all that stuff, right? So don't get me wrong, when the flagships make decisions that are purely for them, it can be bad. But when you're looking at a private equity situation and Ohio State and Michigan are going to go and do not do this, you should probably listen to them.
Yeah, they need unanimous vote. And what I understand is Ohio State and Michigan are still on the sidelines for this agreement and have yet to agree to this. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to see the Big Ten championship brought to you by Fireball Blazing Apple, like, or the Fireball Blazing Apple conference championship. Like,
right. Oh man, yeah, that's crazy.
And logos on uniforms, like the NBA. You've got the Lakers uniform with whatever they put on there, and that is just, it's disgusting to look at.
Yeah,
it's disgusting to look at. If you got Notre Dame uniform, you got Michigan uniforms with a sponsor,
Right.
I'm
Right.
out. I'm out. Call me an old school, but I'm just some things you're just going too far.
Yeah, I get it. I 100. Well, here I'll put it this way: I 99% agree with you because I think there's one that's decent, and it's just because of the wording that's used, and it's Disney sponsoring the Magic.
What? That's a great call.
Yeah. So that's
Great.
about the. Oh no. Oh, Florida just blocked a punt and then got a safety, 19-7,
Gators,
and
Gators winning this game. Been saying
and
it all offseason. Gators are going to beat Texas.
mm-hmm.
This could,
and
dude. What if you? Let's say Florida goes on a crazy run and finishes 9-3. It's different. Joel Klatt, who I love
mm-hmm.
listening to,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "I don't think 9-3 gets you into the college football playoff this year." And gosh, I do. We may see that happen this time around because there's just such parity, and I love it for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not how going to Gainesville. That is tough as it gets. That's a top 10 challenge for a road team to go get the win.
Absolutely. And you look at the rest of their schedule. So I pulled it up. They play 5 more ranked teams. So they play at number 6 Texas A&M, then Mississippi State at home, which I want to come back to you because I want to talk about that game. Then they get number 12 Georgia, Kentucky, number 4 Ole Miss, number 15 Tennessee, number 18 Florida State. Let's say they go on a crazy run.
Yeah.
If they're 9-3 with what, one SEC loss, you're telling me that's not going to get them into their conference title game?
They very well could. They very well. I mean, they probably would be in the conference title game.
Right.
Yeah. So we have a long way to go in seeing who's all going to get there because it's 100%. A different sport now. It's a way different sport now. It's you're not going to see 12-0, 11-1 as much as you used to.
Right. Well, you even I will say with 100% confidence, as they now have gone down 24-7. If Penn State loses today, they're out of playoff discussion.
At UCLA, like they're just losing in front of a brunch setting, like an early morning brunch in Hollywood. There's 100 people at a park.
Yeah, and that's got to be one of those things too, where they're not being affected by crowd noise. I mean, you could probably hear the play calls. Like,
oh yeah,
this is brutal.
Yeah, I think, who knows? People calling for James Franklin's job in Happy Valley. They just don't get it done when they need to, and Oregon. I think Oregon looks like they could be the team.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think Oregon, Ohio State, and Miami have kind of separated themselves from everybody else. And it's just something about that Oregon team and Dan Lanning, his pregame speech and all those things. I'm like, dang, this seems like there's an attitude that I'm like, well, that's the attitude of a champion. But Penn State, my point is Penn State they got their ass kicked by Oregon, and then they came back in the fourth quarter and then still lost. It was like they didn't seem to be in the same sentence as Oregon the whole game.
Right.
And I expected them to be. I really expected them to be, and was disappointed.
Yeah. I will say this: Oregon has looked great. As a former really big Oregon Ducks fan that just got sick of them blowing it when it counts, I'm on to believe it when I see it when it comes to them.
Fair. And they've never done it. Yeah, they've never done it. They've always been on the doorstep.
Yeah.
And then they stole SCO Ducks from the Buffs. They stole that. It's not SCO Ducks. It's SCO Buffs.
Yeah, 100%. I told you I wanted to talk about this game because to me the line looks super interesting. Mm-hmm. And again, we'll just throw it out there. This is for entertainment purposes only. We are not saying this to help you guys out. We just like to have fun talking about it. If you guys have problems, reach out to someone and get some help with it, okay? Mississippi State goes to Texas A&M today and is getting, I think, 17 and a half points against the Aggies. That looks like a sweet bet to bet on Mississippi State. Yeah.
That is a ton of points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you pull the trigger on that one?
I have not. So a couple of those games, there was 2 afternoon games that were making me nervous. It was I'd like to bet, and my initial thinking was Miami -4 against Florida State. And then my other thinking was Mississippi State plus 17 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on both of those?
I don't want to touch Miami, Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
I want to enjoy the game. My gut, for some reason, tells me Florida State could pull it off today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
coming off a loss.
Yeah, coming off a loss. This is both teams, Super Bowl. This is their pretty much chief rival. But I just want to enjoy the game. I don't want to put money on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like your thinking on Mississippi State and the points. I'm looking through the games here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be a solid one. Texas A&M, I think, wins the game, but Mississippi State is scrappy, and they're used to those SEC environments, no doubt. So they're not going to be totally intimidated and overwhelmed. But what a great afternoon slate! This is awesome that these type of games are just available. Every weekend. It's good to. And it's only going to get better. I think that's the real cool promise about the future of the sport with these bigger conferences.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really need to get it to a situation where it's a Big Ten plays an SEC, plays a ACC, plays a Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like it needs to be a set, like the NFL does it. You play the NFC East if you're an AFC West squad, and you're also playing the AFC South. It needs to be that systematic, with some, and I think they'll get there. That with analytics and AI, these systems can for sure put together a schedule that would reflect that, and then you're off and running. It's going to be cool, and it's going to be good to see the days where you can't play an FCS team, an FBS can't play an FCS game. For that to count is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one, and it's I kind of get the counter argument where people will say, well, the SEC plays such a tough schedule, and we just went through Florida having to play 7 or 8 ranked opponents this year. Yeah. But I don't think it's right for you to then go play the Citadel 1 year or 1 week.
No, and it's bad for the game. Nick Saban was railing against that. Like, no, people aren't going to those games. People aren't watching those games. It's a huge missed opportunity for the schools. I think last week it was Arkansas, Notre Dame, and that was the first time those teams had played.
That seems crazy. That really seems crazy. 2 essentially Power 4 teams. Like, that seems nuts.
Arkansas is a top 25, top 30 all-time college football program. Notre Dame's a top 10, top 5 all-time college football program. Those teams should have played each other 10-plus times at this point. And then you had Michigan and Oklahoma to start the season. It was their second all-time meeting. Like, we need to see these teams play each other.
Yeah,
everybody wants that, and it's going to be good for the sport, but it's going to take some adjusting to see a 12-4 national champion.
Yeah, and they've already actually talked about doing it too, but my crazy plan. But how far do you think they're going to take playoff expansion?
So this is the last year of 12, right? Or has any of this been settled?
I don't think any of it's been settled yet.
Nothing's been settled. So I think you and I had argued, and I was always like, no, it shouldn't be more than 12 teams, 16 teams. And you were always like, let's make it more. And I think I'm starting to come around to your point, because the talent is being dispersed more evenly.
Right.
sudden you're seeing a Mississippi State, a Vanderbilt, a Maryland pop out in a Texas Tech, come out of nowhere and be teams that could win their conference, be teams that are a threat. They could beat anybody on any given Saturday. And so that's awesome. And with that, I would love to keep the top 25 somehow prevalent, to make the top 25 teams be an important distinction. Okay. And I would love to see like a 24 play the 25th ranked team as like a play-in. Mm-hmm. And then you've got essentially 24 teams in the playoffs. And they'd have to change the regular season. I don't know if you'd go down to like a 10, 11 game slate. I don't even know. That probably isn't possible at this point. But these college football seasons are going to be 16, 17 games, 18 games for the teams that are there at the end.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you look at a team, you mentioned Maryland. They have to play Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan in the back half of their schedule. Let's say they lose 2 of those games. Okay. Ostensibly, that puts them probably on the outside looking in of the Big Ten championship game. And that puts them outside of the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. But that would then make them a 10-2 team that's lost to 2 ranked opponents, and they have 0 chance of winning the national title. Like, that seems crazy to me.
Right.
And this is the other one. Let's do some quick math while we're talking. You know what? I don't remember how many. This was always my argument. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they don't actually even give you a number. 352. Okay, so there are 352 Division I basketball teams. Did you know that?
I did not. 352 D1.
D1. Isn't that crazy?
That makes sense, though. I mean, you got so many less players on a basketball team.
Right, and there's a lot more programs that can be in. So as of right now, 68 teams make the playoffs. And it is 2 of the absolute best, most fun, and most bet days of the calendar year, where it's the first 2 days of March Madness, right? Mm-hmm. You get the round of 68, or the round, I guess, of 64, where everyone is playing over that 2-day period, right? It is literally morning to night basketball, and most of the time it's people sitting in a casino betting on all of those games. Great days of sports. So if you take 68 teams and divide it by 350, you get about 19%, right? So 19% of the teams have a chance to win the national title. When you take 25 and you divide it by 136, it's 18%. It's almost the exact same. And when I started to talk to you about that, where I'm like, you take the top 25, that's the tournament, and the 24-25 is a playing game. Mm-hmm. It's the perfect way to set up the playoffs for college football, in my opinion. Yeah. And it almost exactly matches with like Division 1AA.
What's Division 1A? Is it 16?
I think it's 24. It's what is that? So is that FCS?
Yeah.
Playoff. How many teams? 24 teams make the FCAS playoffs, with a field of 10, including 10 conference championships who get an automatic bid, and 14 teams selected at large.
That's so. It's like, yeah, it's so perfect. That would be so fun. A 24-team college football playoff would be so fun.
Well, and you talked about it earlier, but imagine the sponsorships and the graphics that ESPN or CBS or whoever wins the bid could run for the 24-25 playoff game. Like, you're telling me who's 24 and 25 right now? It's what, TCU and someone else?
TCU and
college football top 25.
We got ASU, Utah, Virginia, ASU in the AP.
Yeah, AP is right now ASU and Virginia. You're telling me you wouldn't tune in to watch ASU Virginia play for the chance to be in the playoffs?
Oh yeah,
that'd be sick.
Yeah, a home game too. You know, like 24 goes to 25. Mm-hmm. It'd be so fun, dude.
And I mean, bowls are great. Don't get me wrong. Bowls are awesome. But some of those bowls can probably be done away with at this point. You know, where you're having like the Bahama bowls where there's like 25 people in the stands.
Yeah.
let's have ASU host Virginia instead.
Yeah. The Dude Wipes Bowl.
Right, the Dude Wipes Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. I can't do it anymore. But we have to keep the Pop-Tarts Bowl. The Pop-Tarts Bowl will live on for forever.
Yeah. That reminds me of the Blockbuster Bowl in the early 90s, and they were making it like it was going to be a huge bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Blockbuster, the whole thing fizzled out. And I think they had the Blockbuster Bowl for like 4 years. The Buffs played Alabama in the Blockbuster Bowl.
Really?
In the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a huge showdown. It was two, really solid programs.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's a 1991 Blockbuster Bowl. Alabama pulled out a close one against CU. It was 30-25. Alabama was 10-1. CU was 8-2-1.
Yeah, and so Buffs won the title in 90. Bama won it in 92. So it was a big bowl game there for a little while, and just went away.
The 1990 was the first one. It was 9-2. Florida State beat 9-2 Penn State.
Yeah.
Then CU, Bama. And then 93. I guess they jumped a year. 9-3 Stanford beat 7-4 Penn State.
I think there was one more year, and then that's it. I think it was only like 4 years or so.
Yeah, it was only 3 years. It became the CarQuest Bowl after that.
Well, I wonder why Blockbuster obviously made a ton of mistakes, but namely among them was not pursuing that because, like the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl was synonymous for so long.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's just crazy. All right, Juice, what are you looking for tonight? What are you seeing out of the Buffs? What are you seeing out of UNLV? Let's spice this up again a little bit. Let's get a score prediction for each.
All right, I got UNLV winning 27-24.
Okay.
27-24, really close game. And I think Buffs cover. But I think like 35-31, TCU wins the game.
Okay.
What do you got?
I'll go with you on that one. For UNLV, I will go 31-21 over Wyoming. And then CU, I'll go – I think it'll be a 42-35 kind of game. TCU wins.
Okay.
All right.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Buffs pull the upset, though. Let's hope for that. And yeah, Florida's up 19-7 on Texas at half. That Florida +7 is looking great.
Yeah, and Vanny's about ready to punch it in. Let's give it here a second. Maybe we'll give them just a second to read our socials down here at the bottom. If you guys would like to follow us on X, you can find us at Sacred Saturdays on X. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at sacred.saturdays. And Juice and I have actually some pretty fun ideas that we have coming up with, and maybe visiting some college campuses around us here soon. But, we won't let the cat out of the bag here too early, but might be seeing our faces pop up around certain areas here.
Faces in merch.
In merch.
Yeah, it's just fun, man. And it's awesome to be at the beginning here and building something new. We'll look back on these early days fondly.
Absolutely.
Our early several views, 10 views, 20 views. It's all part of the game. So It's just fun talking about the sport. It's something we've been following and watching for years. So it's just fun connecting with you, man, and talking shop.
Yeah, I love it. I really appreciate it. It's stuff that we would be doing offline anyway. We just decided to do it on camera for other people to enjoy it with us.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely, man.
Oh, man.
Touchdown, Commodores.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
14-7. Those Vandy helmets, the matte black, just sexual and violent, dude.
They're so sweet. And the play, like, I'm going to do a horrible job explaining it, but the actual play that they scored on is so sweet. It's a fake run into a shovel pass to the same running back that they just faked the run to. Like, that's beautiful. Like, I love the modern day football where that's a smash mouth run that they just turned into a pitch play with a play action on top of it. I love it. All right. Well, I think we're going to close this episode out. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, go Buffs, go Rebels, go Gators. Have a great day. We will see you guys later.